You're listening to I Love It When, and I'm your host, Mo. I'm a speaker, coach, and connector. You're in the right place if you're looking for some inspiration and you're ready to truly embrace who you are. My intention with this podcast is to help you see that you are so much more powerful than you realize. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of I Love It When. I'm your host, Mo, and today I'm going to be talking about retreats. I decided I wanted to hop on and share a bit about why I love retreats, why I started doing them, and then share with you about an upcoming retreat in Sedona, Arizona with Seph Dietlin. It's November 14th through the 16th. If you follow me on social media, you might have already seen me share about it. It's going to be amazing, and I'm really excited. And I just felt called to share with maybe those of you that have not experienced a retreat before what it's like. I'll talk about the agenda. I'm going to share a couple clips with you from a previous podcast episode when I had Seph on here on the I Love It One episode, or sorry, podcast. And then I'm also going to share a clip from our info session to give you a better idea of what it will feel like. So I'm a big fan, if you haven't already noticed, and I'm a big fan for a couple of reasons. I think it's important to note too that growing up, I was extremely shy. And so going to camp or doing things that involved meeting a lot of new people was not typically my favorite thing to do. And so I find it really interesting that now I actually host events where I bring together people who don't know each other. I think that's part of my process, though, that you've probably, if you've been listening to this podcast for a while, you've heard me talk about. Whenever I find an area of discomfort in my life, I tend to lean into it because I've learned that by leaning into it, it removes the fear. And there's usually something there that I need to learn. It's kind of like a signal to me, like, hey, there's something here that you need to learn from this experience. There's some missing information. And so I started hosting retreats in 2017 because I felt like I was stagnant. I was lacking inspiration. I really wanted to learn from new people. I also wanted to provide an opportunity for a lot of the admin in the real estate industry to learn something new and to feel special while doing it. Because at that point in my career, I was building a community of real estate operations folks from across the US. And I had seen, being in the industry for a couple of years now, that there just were not the same resources that were provided to real estate agents. A lot of real estate admin lacked the confidence and lacked, honestly, the resources to learn how to be the best version of themselves for their job, wherever they were at. And so I created these retreats because I was really passionate about providing that same opportunity to real estate admin. And I think I was also looking for exactly the same thing for myself. I wanted more resources. I wanted more information. I really wanted an opportunity to have a pattern interrupt, which I also talk about quite often if you come to many of my retreats. Pattern interrupt is basically an opportunity to pause from what you're doing in your day-to-day life, literally do something different. And it gives you an opportunity to kind of take a step back and look at what you do on a regular basis on autopilot and how do you want to change that autopilot? Because I've also talked about this before, 95% of our day is on autopilot with our subconscious. And so part of the reason why I love EFT tapping, affirmations, doing things on repeat like this is because I want to rewire my brain, and that requires a lot of repetition. And so a retreat is a wonderful opportunity to create a pattern interrupt and take a step back and look to see how you might alter where you're at in your life. I also really love changing my environment. And I have found energetically when I'm around water or expansive land, the way that I think opens up. It opens up a new level of awareness for me. It opens up and expands my energy. It helps me to think differently. I think outside the box. And so that's another aspect that I like to include when I'm talking about retreats. The other interesting part too is the energy of the people who come. So every retreat is so unique and so different. I always tell people the experience starts the moment that you say yes. Once you say yes, it's like you've put that intention out into the universe and things start to fall into place for you and for all the other attendees. And each group is unique and beautiful and different in its own way. And it always works out so much more magically than I can even begin to imagine before. It's like everybody was sent there for a particular reason or purpose. And so that's going to be happening in such a big way with this upcoming retreat in Sedona, Arizona. And also, you have the energy of all the practitioners and the healers that are coming to take us through different experiences like breath work, vocal toning. I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. So, why Sedona, Arizona? Why this retreat? I first went to Sedona about 2 years ago and hosted one of my unscripted retreats there with just four attendees. Yeah, four attendees. It was a small, intimate retreat, and it was one of the best experiences ever. I chose Sedona because I had been on my radar for the last 5 years or so. I had heard about it before, didn't really think too much about it. And then I listened to a podcast with Haley Hoffman Smith, and she went to Sedona with some of her friends and had an experience with Seph, actually. That's how I first heard about Seph, and another guy named Demir, who leads different excursions around Sedona. And when I listened to her podcast, I was like, okay, I need this in my life. And so I decided that my next retreat was going to be in Sedona. And I'm so excited to be going back. You guys, the energy there is it's inspiring, it's tangible. And when I say tangible, I'm sometimes someone who, when I describe energy and how I feel it, I don't always feel it as physically as some healers do. Um, a lot of my intuition comes through my knowingness. And though for me, emotion, feeling, that is becoming stronger and stronger. And so when I was in Sedona, it just added to the whole experience of the retreat. And so I've been thinking of different ways that I can get back there. And so when Seph brought this retreat idea up to me, I was like, yes, immediately. 100% I'm in. I had zero hesitation. So I already mentioned that I met Seph about 2 years ago through listening to that podcast of Haley's. And I called him up and said, hey, would you come to my retreat and channel the angels for us? And so he came. We had a fantastic experience. He channeled a general message for the whole group, for the collective, and then he went through individually with each of us and gave us individual messages. And ever since then, he and I have just stayed in touch. He actually is originally from this area in the Pacific Northwest. And so whenever he comes up, we find a way to collaborate or do something together. And so I've really loved having this time over the last couple of years to get to know him more as well. So I actually want to share with you right now a short clip from the podcast episode where I had Seph with me here on the I Love It When podcast back in February 2023, so that you can get a sense of his energy. This is just about, it's going to be about a 2.5 minute clip. I want to start off by just having you share a little bit about who you are to begin with and what you do.
Thank you. No, I love that. So it evolves as we go along. And so what I have discovered that I am is a human potential activator.
Okay.
Now, I use various gifts to do that. And it started off by communicating with the angels, having an encounter with them, having 20 years of dialogue with them. And through that, have discovered how we are meant to live at our full potential, the way that we're designed to live, what we're designed to experience, and who we're designed to be.
Mm-hmm.
So I use various methods. I'm a certified hypnotherapist. I am a trance channel, so I communicate with the angels. When I do work, people like to label it psychic work or intuitive work. So I work with them, and I'm an energy medium, which means I also transmit energy from the quantum realm with my connection with the angels, or yeah, I guess you could say that level of consciousness. If some people aren't really that comfortable with the angels, but they are citizens of the quantum realm. So if you're comfortable with that
Mm-hmm.
and spirit guides, that's fine too.
Okay. What were you doing before you started doing more with the angels?
So I was a real estate agent in Southern
Mm-hmm.
California, and I was having a blast. And I had an experience that was quite a bit of a setback in my personal life and business life all at once. And I had what some people could describe as maybe a nervous breakdown, or really kind of that dark moment of transformation.
Mm-hmm.
And in it, something inside compelled me to call on my angels. And I guess you could say, I challenged them
Mm-hmm.
to make a more real and tangible experience. I
Okay.
literally told them that believing they're there, not being able to talk to them or ever see them, makes it really hard to actually believe that they're there. So I told them they needed to make themselves a little more tangibly present if they
Yeah.
wanted me to believe that they were there, especially inside of the fact that I told them they weren't doing a very good job since I had like this huge setback, right?
Yes. So I wanted to share that clip so that you got a bit of a sense of what Seph's energy is like. And you can listen to that full episode on any platform that you listen to this podcast or on the YouTube channel. It's episode number 15. And so that gives you a sense of what his energy is like. So whenever I meet different healers and practitioners, I, just like with any other human, I take my time in getting to know them, building trust, and also having discernment around whether or not I want to collaborate with them. And so I've had a lot of different people that have wanted to collaborate with me over the years. And I've been told that collaboration more and more is going to become a part of my business, which I've been really excited about. However, I've realized how important discernment is, because that just plays a part in how the collaboration plays out. And it matters a lot to me. It matters a lot to me who I collaborate with, and because they represent, like, it represents whatever it is that we're doing together. It represents my business. And for me, I think the thing that I've really thought about over the years before I owned my own business, but when I worked for Pickett Street and before that, when I worked at the Seattle Art Museum, I was really well known for having a wide network. And when I refer people, either for possible job referrals or like if somebody needs a vendor, it's a really big deal to me that I refer someone who I know is going to be able to fulfill that duty. Otherwise, I won't refer anybody. Um, because that is all a part of building trust and building relationships. And I'm a really big relationship builder. And I like the people who I also am sending the referral to trust that, because when you send someone a referral and it actually works out, that is a win. Like, that's a huge win. This is kind of a this is a tangent a bit, but for some reason this feels important to talk about. Um, and I don't think people realize oftentimes how much building that trust is important when it comes to building relationships with people that you work with and in your personal relationships. And I take that very seriously. So people know they can trust that when I send someone to them, it is a really good recommendation and referral. So I say all that because I don't take it lightly that I'm doing this collaboration with Seph. I trust him. He has shown me over the last 2 years that he's someone that I can trust. I believe that he's got pure intentions, and I've seen his integrity, and that matters to me. And so I want you to know that going into this retreat and experience, because this retreat's not just run by me, this is really Seph's idea, and he's asked me to come in and collaborate with him on this. I want you to know um, that there's that level of trust there, because I take it very seriously, especially when I recommend healers to people. Just like any other doctor, dentist, someone that you go to for a service, right? Especially when it has to do with your own physical, mental, emotional, financial, spiritual health. I only refer people that I fully trust. And so I want you to know that I have that trust in Seph and this experience. So I guess I wanted to say that. Uh, Next, I'm going to talk a little bit about what will happen during this retreat. So it's November 14th through the 16th, which is Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Where I would recommend that you arrive on Wednesday. I know I'm going to sometime during the day. And if people want to get together for dinner that night, we're going to have that option just to get together at a restaurant nearby. We're going to be staying somewhere near where Melina has her retreat center. It's called Oasis in Sedona. And from the little bit I know about Sedona, I believe this part of town, the Oasis in Sedona, is a little bit southeast of like the main downtown area of Sedona. And so you can look for places there. You can also reach out to me once you start that process. And Steph and I are going to help people with that, with finding places to stay. But there are lots of options between hotels and VRBOs, Airbnb, things like that. Each morning of the retreat, we'll start off with a welcome and then a practitioner. It'll be either someone who's doing some vocal toning, it'll be a crystal bowl sound bath, or we have a breathwork practitioner. And then after the practitioner, they'll go for about an hour, most likely. Then Seph will step in and channel for the angels. And anytime he goes up to channel or do anything, I'll be going up with him and helping to facilitate that conversation with the angels through either asking questions or making sure that any questions you guys have um, get asked of the angels as well. After that, we will have a break for lunch and we'll probably do lunch together somewhere. And then that afternoon will be on 2 of the days will be left open for you to do what you like. You can either participate in a group outing or you can have time to take a nap, rest, integrate. This is something that I really appreciate about the way that we have this retreat organized. In the past, when I organized retreats, I would pack them so jam full that it almost was really too much and not enough time for integration, conversation, and to talk about the learning that just happened. So on the Friday afternoon, though, we will have an activity that's included in the price of the retreat, and it's with Melina from the Oasis in Sedona. She owns that retreat center, so she's going to be actually taking us out on the Red Rocks and doing an activation and an energy healing with all of us, and I'm really excited for that. She has been in Sedona for about 4 years, I believe, but most of her experience and learning, I think she has like 30 plus years, were done in other countries. And so the more I'm learning about her, the more excited I am, which is why now I want to show you a clip of Melina describing a little bit about this experience from our info session.
Give Melina an opportunity to chat and share a little bit about, well, first of all, the center is really nice. There's a nice red rock view. It's very conveniently located to a lot of things in the village of Oak Creek, which is an area of Sedona, beautiful area of Sedona, right next to the most iconic um, rocks, Bell Rock, um, yep, the other ones. Anyways, Melina, you're right in the
Courthouse,
courthouse and
formerly Eagle's Nest.
formerly Eagles Nest, which I like that one better. It's named by
Yeah.
the Native Americans. The Eagles Nest Courthouse, the Bell Rock, and of course the Cathedral Rock. So you're right there in the most iconic rock formations. But we're going to be doing the retreat right there nearby, and then Melina's going to take us out on the lawn, out on the land nearby. So if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself and a little bit about what we're experiencing.
Right. Yes. So hello, everyone. So my name is Melina Fuhrmann, and I have this retreat center, so Oasis in Sedona. That's what it's called. It's at the Collective. And I work primarily as an energy consciousness teacher and an energy healer. I consider myself a spirit mentor as well. And having worked with angels quite a bit, actually. You will not find it anywhere on my website, but actually that is what is taking place. And I'm thrilled to be a part of this. I mean, there's a lot of things changing with my work at the moment, and there's really opening up a lot more of the sort of collaboration, cooperation, new people coming in. There's a lot of new energy, a lot of shifts that are taking place right now, which is just fantastic. I mean, as far as and helping to raise the vibration of more and more people. I just love that part. And it was interesting about the whole manifestation. So one of the things that came to me also yesterday when we were out is that one thing that I will help everyone, we will bring this through energetically, and also just mention as far as intention and manifestation, right? And there's like an integral part of the energy field, which I call the level of intentionality, or hara. And when you get together in a group, it becomes so much more powerful. So something that's called a group hara. And that is why when we really feel such strong transformations in a very much a higher vibration when we are in a group with those sort of the same intentions. And I think some, groups come together, like the perfect groups come together always. You might not know it, right? But there's like these connections, and I think the space that we'll be in is perfect for that. It's in a round building, so we like that kind of that energy of the round building as well, and with the view, of course, is great. And other than that, I look forward to welcoming everyone in Sedona and to share this special place. I have lived in Sedona just for the last 4.5 years. I spent 28 years in Europe and moved from Switzerland, Geneva, Switzerland, actually, those 4.5 years ago. So,
Oh,
and maybe just on the vortex side of things. So that's what's really special about Sedona, as far as this higher vibration. So for this like activation for any of this kind of work, and that's the area that we'll be going to, it'll be very much in that area, and you're going to be able to tap into that experience in some way, your own unique way, perhaps, of the vortex energy, actually. So it's always exciting to see how they experience it. So looking forward to seeing everyone.
Yeah, and
So I will put the link to that info session in the podcast show notes so that you can watch the full session. It's available and open to the public on YouTube. And I just wanted to show you that clip with Melina so that you could hear her voice and see her energy, because she will also be an integral part of this. And I'm really excited to meet her. So I next wanted to show you another clip from the info session of Seph sharing about the retreat agenda in more depth and detail, so you can again get a sense of the different practitioners that are going to be there and kind of how the days will flow. Because I know for people in the past whom I've had to my retreats, some people are more detail oriented than others, and some people really like to have a clear idea of what the agenda will be, and that plays a part in whether or not they decide to come. So
absolutely. So first of all,
Mhm.
every day I'm going to be offering a part of that too. We're going to be working with the angels, and it is a bit of a curriculum that is designed specifically for this retreat and for manifesting. So each of the 3 days, I will also be working, doing Q&A, doing activation as well. So that will be part of it. But every day that we're together, that experience is going to start with another wonderful practitioner that's going to come in and butter us up into that beautiful theta brainwave state. So on the first day, I have an amazing vocal tone healer that works with Tibetan bowls. So we're going to, on that day, for example, we're going to start off with a little tiny easy walk on a very flat path in the rocks and really just connect with Sedona. And we're going to then come in and experience Kie's beautiful magic with her vocal toning. And then after that, we're going to go into the angel work. And each of the days, they are coordinated in that kind of a way. So we have a vocal tone healer coming in. We have a breath work facilitator coming in on Saturday. And we have a crystal bowl healer coming in on Friday. And Melina knows the crystal bowl healer. She actually healed herself of cancer with sound healing. And all of those that are coming in to contribute this have experienced wonderful miracles with their own work, and they're bringing their frequency into this as well. Their beautiful frequency of connectivity. And I have a comedian coming in because we're going to do healing with humor. A wonderful, amazing, I don't want to give away too much, but this is a very powerful human being, and you can't help but to love Maud. She does a one-woman show, but she is a very, very awake person who's manifested some incredible things. But I want to wait until the retreat until I share that. But she's bringing that kind of energy in. Let's just say that she's had experiences that are completely unexplainable. So she's not only going to bring us into laughter, she's going to bring her frequency into the equation as well. So we have these various healers. We have an experience on the land. We have an experience with another practitioner on day one to prepare us to integrate and to get the most out of the experience. So I brought in another person who is the lead chaplain at the Center for Christ Consciousness here in Sedona. And he's going to spend time with us and prepare us to integrate what we're bringing in so that we can maximize what we do. So this is the experience. Every day is a curated experience that is all paired very nicely with what we're doing. And so we're going to spend a good amount of time on the land, but we're going to spend a good amount of time with other amazing experiences that are going to facilitate those quantum activations. And the other thing too, and Mo will go into this a little bit as well, when we decided to do this, the way that we're going to do this instead of actually organizing housing and food and transportation, all of that, what we've done is we're actually just pricing out the experience. And that way the cost of the experience is less than what you would usually spend on a retreat. And that way, because a lot of people are going to have the timeshares or want to share with other people, or they'll have
Mm.
frequent flyer miles or other ways that they're going to get here, or they might have friends that they can stay with. So you can even go camping or hoteling. So since we're already going to pay for that experience, perhaps for some of us, that may be available in other forms. So instead of including it in the cost of the retreat, what we're going to do is we're separating it out for just the experience or the experiences, so that that way all of those other things you can do on your own in whatever way. And we're also going to create a community of connectivity where you can all connect with each other before the retreat. And in case there's anyone who wants to share a ride from Phoenix Airport or anything like that. And if you want to go ahead and expand on that, Mo, that'd be great too.
Yeah, I like this option. I've actually only ever done retreats where I found like a large VRBO and brought in a caterer for everything. And so I think this really opens up a lot more flexibility, like Seph was saying. So essentially, the retreat will be Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and it'll be from the morning until like the early afternoon. And then we'll have activities that you can participate in if you choose to in the afternoon, but you don't have to, which I think is also great for integration. Like these experiences might you might have all sorts of different things come up, and so oftentimes having time to just be and maybe take a nap, like let things integrate from the morning, I think will be really good as well. But then like Steph said, we'll have, I always tell people the retreat begins the moment you say yes, because as soon as you say yes, you're literally setting that intention like Melina talked about so well. And I love the way by the way that you described the aura of the group. I've never heard that before, and it makes complete sense to me. um, so the moment that you say yes, the experience starts and things start to unfold and happen. And so we'll connect as a group before we go so that people can start to figure out carpools and if you want to room with someone, things like that. And then there'll be all sorts of opportunities between activities too, I think, to connect with people one-on-one if you feel really called to talk to someone more, to called to talk to a specific healer more or another attendee. And so I love that flexibility because I think it adds an element to the retreat that uh, really I think just opens us up for even more of that magic and serendipity that often happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're here to help with finding whatever you
Mhm.
want. Like we'll have ideas and
Mhm.
resources that you can tap into. And like we said, for some people, you might have points with a hotel, and instead of actually having to put resources like money into something that's already curated here, maybe you can offset the cost of what would normally be a more expensive experience with your points or whatever it is that you have. And then, especially with food, we're going to be taking breaks and we're going to offer a lot of options to let things flow, like Mo said. And that way, in the afternoons, there's a couple of activities, and all of these activities are optional. And on Friday, we're going to be doing the experience out on the rocks with Melina. That's included, of course. There's a couple of other optional experiences that we're adding, but we didn't add them into this experience because they're a little bit more or quite a bit more costly. And one of them was a pink Jeep tour. If anybody wants to do those and spend some more time out with the pink Jeep out into some other areas of the Red Rocks. And another one is a beautiful experience with a healer that I know that offers this healing activation and teaching painting as well. She provides all of the art supplies, and she's a beautiful human being, but she starts off with breath work and meditation. And her goal is to help you discover the creator or the artist within, but with canvas and paint. And it's a wonderful next level experience. And it's a little costly as well. It's $200, but rather than building that into the cost of the retreat, not everybody is going to feel drawn to that particular thing That way we could keep the cost down. So the pink Jeep and the healing with painting experience is an add-on that you can have. And those aren't really going to go through us. They're going to go through the vendors directly, but we're going to make them available and set them up for you if you want to add that to your experience as well. So this way it gives you a lot of flexibility. And in a way, it's sort of like you're coming to Sedona for a huge activation of your own with hopefully 20 other people, new friends, new people who are part of your community. And instead of booking all of these experiences separately, like off to a sound bath and off to here and off to here, it's already organized for you. So you just come in and participate. And of course, let the magic and miracles just flow.
All right. So I wanted to share those few clips with you so that you really had an idea of what's going to be happening at the retreat and what the feel is, what the energy is, and the people that are involved. So again, it's November 14th through the 16th. Tickets are $888, and that covers all the practitioners, the retreat center, the activities that we're doing there. Accommodations, transportation, and meals are not included. And we did that so that you could have more flexibility. You could stay with friends. Some people might camp. And so if this sounds intriguing to you and like a pattern interrupt that you could really use, please reach out to ask me any questions you might have. I would love, love, love to see you there. You can go to my website, iloveitwhen.org, and there's a link right there on the front page to the ticket page, so you can go get a ticket, or there's also a link to watch the full info session that's on YouTube. So please reach out with any questions, and I hope to see you in Sedona.